And I was talking with Michael Psaros, who has put so much of his own time, talent, and money into the completion of St. Nicholas. And he said, Paulette, if you want them to come and tell the people how the money was used and where we're going with St. Nicholas, please feel free to do so. So I called Father Andreas and asked him, would you be kind enough to come? And he said, I want to come for one reason, not to solicit your money, but to express my gratitude to each and every one of you. So I'm going to ask Father Andreas Vithoulkas, who is the presiding clergyman at St. Nicholas, to come up and tell his story. And after he finishes, he will introduce the new executive director, Andreas Vithoulkas. Father, please come.
Paulette, thank you so much. You're always such an amazing supporter of our archdiocese and the clergy. For as long as I know you, you've given your heart and soul to this church and to the clergy that try to do our best. So thank you for this opportunity to be here today. Your Eminence, Archbishop Veniopoulos, Your Eminence, Metropolitan Savas, my ordaining hierarch, Your Graces, Reverend Fathers, brothers in Christ, esteemed members of the Leadership 100 team, Jim, Paulette, thank you so much for this opportunity. As we gather at this moment to reflect and anticipate, we commemorate the 40th anniversary of the Archbishop Iakovos Leadership 100 Fund, a beacon of philanthropy and faith that has illuminated the path for countless individuals within our archdiocese, many institutions. This fund has helped so many people. Your tireless discretion, dedication to the mission of Leadership 100 is instrumental in shaping the path of the archdiocese for future generations. And we are truly indebted to you as a church for your love, generosity, and support. One of the great accomplishments of this organization under the leadership of His Eminence Archbishop Veniopoulos in recent times has been the completion and opening of St. Nicholas Greek Orthodox Church and National Shrine at the World Trade Center. I know, serving as His Eminence's Chancellor for 3 years, and how important this mission was to him, one of his top priorities. And within the 5 years of his service to the church here in America, accomplishing all these things one by one, and this being one on the top of his list. So under the direction and leadership of His Eminence, and with your support, we are here today to discuss the future of St. Nicholas. With hearts overflowing and with gratitude and appreciation, I stand before you representing our church, our parish, and national shrine to give thanks for your unwavering support and steadfast commitment in the construction and the completion of St. Nicholas. It is truly, your generosity and vision has been a cornerstone in this remarkable accomplishment, guiding and transforming the dream that was St. Nicholas into becoming a reality with flesh and bones. Your contribution of over $6 million has been memorialized in our Xanthippe garden on our donor wall. And so when you come to St. Nicholas, you will see your names, Leadership 100, and your names will be continually commemorated in the sanctuary of St. Nicholas. We'll never forget your generosity and love to our shrine. When I was appointed the Archiepiscopal Vicar, it's a very fancy title, and whenever we say it, you know, we break a little bit of a smile, but it really has a very important meaning. I am the Archiepiscopal Vicar and the presiding priest of St. Nicholas Greek Orthodox Church and National Shrine. This dual role reflects that the shrine and the parish occupy the same space, but have varying missions. The first part of the parish part is that, we are continuing the legacy of the parish that was built 100 years ago by the first immigrants that came to this country and dedicated this little humble church to their patron saint to thank him for their safety coming here and beginning their new life. And now, after 20 years, we are continuing that parish. We are rebuilding that original community that started there over 100 years ago. However, as a national shrine, a shrine for the nation, the meaning of St. Nicholas extends far beyond the Greek Orthodox community and expands from ground zero with all the implications of September 11th and to convey the very best of religious faith, respect for all people. Now that we are operating the site on both these modalities, we are also forming the appropriate ministries for both the parish and the shrine. The connection to September 11th will forever be part of St. Nicholas. And it is a very emotional part for myself. I am, of course, born and raised New Yorker. I was in Manhattan on September 11th. I remember that tragic day. And never in my wildest dreams would I have imagined myself being here representing His Eminence, a presiding priest of St. Nicholas. And in a way, for me, in a very humble way, it is a way to give back personally for the tremendous sacrifice of all those people that lost their lives on that day. We have felt all a tremendous responsibility to connect the resurrected church community to the World Trade Center, its immediate history. And I want to give you a quick quote that I love that His Eminence said on the consecration day of St. Nicholas. And quote, he says, today, when he brought the holy relics of St. Nicholas to the church, to the shrine, to be placed into the altar, he said, today, these holy and precious remains of a saint whose own history stretches back across the millennia and across the ocean to Asia Minor and the glory of Byzantium that lives on in our ecumenical patriarchate are joined to the history of those for whom the World Trade Center has become a tomb. These modern martyrs, slain by unjust hatred, were denied even the chance of burial. And so Ground Zero remains forever a sacred ground, a place of remembrance. And we pray that with today's consecration, a place of reconciliation, of forgiveness, and of love. In the words of His Eminence, you can feel the weaving of two narratives, the martyred innocents of September 11th and the martyred little church, which we will never forget. In the heart of New York City, amidst the hustle and bustle of one of the greatest metropolises of the world, stands a beacon of peace, resilience, and spiritual solace. St. Nicholas Greek Orthodox Church and National Shrine, since its inauguration on December 6, 2022, the sacred site has welcomed over 165,000 visitors from across the globe, embodying the unique blend of Byzantine art, ecclesiastical tradition, and community engagement and outreach. With the new year, His Eminence has installed our official board of trustees, and at the head of that being Michael Psaros. And I would like to also acknowledge some of the members of the board who are members here today of Leadership 100. John Piavlis, Dean Mitropoulos. Please stand if you're here so we can thank you. John Kalamos and John Koudounis. These individuals, what can I say, you have been such a support in the past and now continue to be a support in the future of St. Nicholas. We also have a parish council, which I have placed to serve the church under the Board of Trustees. And again, we have other members, Stacy Tsapatsaris and Nick here, George and Maria Duvis, who are part of our parish council. And Your Eminence, I have to say that half of our parish council are women. And also, we have a very young age of individuals that I have to share this story. One of us, our youngest members of the parish council, is Dimitrios from Chania. And I met Dimitri. I didn't meet Dimitri. I met Dimitri's mother. She came to the church one day and she says, "I want my son to come to church. I want him to get involved." And I said, "Okay, who's your son?" She says, "Well, Dimitri, he just graduated college. He got a job. He's from Greece." I was thinking to myself, "Kala, there's no way this kid is going to want to come to church." Dimitri came to church. He says, "Father, I never been to church." But he came to church. Not only come to church, he got onto the parish council, and he says, and he's there all the time. He says, I never believed church would be like this. And it's a testimony to the individuals that are there and being part of our community. At the forefront, and I have to also say, of course, with the National Philoptochos here, we reinstated our Philoptochos chapter, which... Thank you, Arlene and Anita and all the district Philoptochos. We really appreciate your help, and we're looking forward to serve the church in whatever way we can, and especially, as His Eminence says, to have the women involved in the church because they are the ones that really support us, and especially as clergy, our presbyteros, we can't do anything without them. So, and I thank my presbytera who's here today. At the forefront of our mission is the establishment of St. Nicholas as a national, pan-Orthodox parish, a reconstituting of Hagia Sophia of our times. We stand as a testament to faith's enduring power, welcoming all those who seek spiritual solace in our modern-day agora. Our church is not just a physical structure, as we know. It's not just bricks and beautiful marble and the Pentelic marble and all of that reminding us of our Parthenon, the Acropolis. It's flesh and bones of people dedicating their lives to the service of the church, to the building, and now to the continuing of the mission of the church here. The shrine's role extends beyond traditional worship. It seeks to become a focal point for all people and all faiths, united in God and neighbor in a world often divided. St. Nicholas stands as a bridge to unite people. We are involved actively in, we're also in Andrews Veniopoulos, who is our executive director now, and he's going to give a little presentation and a slideshow. We'll talk about some of the projects we're working on. A bereavement center, not only connected to September 11th, but for people who are grieving and to help them through the daily struggles in their lives. We're working on interfaith relations, ecumenical relations, inviting people to come, of all faiths, to come and get involved in our church. We are working on Spanish mission work, Afro-American mission work. All these things now are taking place through St. Nicholas, which is an opportunity to share our beautiful traditions, not only with the immediate Greek Orthodox community, but with the city, the world, the nation, and the entire world. As we look to the future, St. Nicholas Greek Orthodox Church will continue to serve under the Archdiocese as a parish, as an institution, of course, of the Archdiocese, and a national shrine for all of you. Our journey since December 6th, 2022 is a testament of the power of faith, the power of community, the strength of a community, and the unyielding resilience of the human spirit. The shrine's role extends far beyond traditional boundaries, and we are looking to build on those boundaries now moving forward. Finally, in closing, I would like to say thank you once again for your love and your support. I encourage you, please come and visit us. Come, let me know, call me, take my cell phone. I will give you a tour, and I would love to see you at our church to see the ongoing journey of faith, hope, and love which we have here at our National Shrine. Let us carry forth the legacy of Archbishop Iakovos' Leadership 100 Fund, embracing our role as custodians of the tradition that transcends times and border, fostering a more inclusive and vibrant religious community for generations to come. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I want to echo Father Andreas' wonderful words about the help of Leadership 100 to St. Nicholas, to the building of St. Nicholas. As he said, Leadership 100 gave $6 million at a very important part in our history to rebuild St. Nicholas. But not only that, the members in this room, if you look in our donor wall, over half of the names on the donor wall are Leadership 100 members. As Father pointed out earlier, Dimitrios, John Kalamos, John Kadunas, John and Marissa Pavlis, Libby and Mike Angeliadis, all Leadership 100 members. And we also have, obviously, Michael Psaros, who's not here, Maria Alwyn, and we're very grateful to everyone. And something earlier that His Eminence spoke at the General Assembly is we all try to give time, talent, and treasure to the church. And the most important is time, because we don't have infinite amount of time. And these individuals and others, like the Peter J. Pappas family, I don't know if Kathy's here, but the Peter J. Pappas family of PJ Mechanical in New York donated and installed all the HVAC for free at St. Nicholas. Peter J. Pappas of blessed memory came down to St. Nicholas before we even put the first marble down, and he had to figure out the chilled water system down there, and he solved it free of charge, as he's always done. And then Paul Bergianos, I don't know if he's here as well, he was given this design by Santiago Calatrava that 75% of the exterior glows at night because of the lighting system that Paul invented. It wasn't he could go to Home Depot and go buy some lights and figure it out. He had to really invent the wheel, and he's done a marvelous job. And if anybody sees it glowing at night, it's because of Paul and his work, and he did it at cost. So we thank Paul and others that have given not only their time, but their talent and their treasure. So thank you all. So we go talk about St. Nicholas, and as Father said, we are a church. But what does that mean? We first built the church, so here's some pictures for anybody who hasn't been to the church, both during the day and at night. And this is part of the exterior glowing that Paul Bergianos did for us. And just to give you a little bit of history, as like Father, I was in New York City on 9/11, and we went from a hole in the ground to this beautiful metropolis, to this great 16-acre campus that we're proud of now. We have a functioning parish, a thriving parish, and we have the liturgical experience. It's been literally a booking for weddings the whole season of May. It's completely booked for weddings, for baptisms, and we have here are some weddings, some baptisms here. Father Andreas is constantly busy, and I'm sorry, Michael Kavurius, we couldn't get your wedding in time, but we're trying. So it's a thriving parish. But one of the great joys, and for myself personally, I still get goosebumps to this day, is our first Easter this past year. And we decided to try and do the procession of the Epitafio around the 9/11 Memorial Park. Now, we are part of 9/11 history, so think about that. Carrying the tomb of Christ around the 9/11 Memorial Park, where there was so much death. And as you see some of these pictures, I honestly thought when I was working with the 9/11 Museum and the Port Authority and NYPD and all the other entities, 250 people might show up. I was dead wrong. We had over 2,000 people. Now imagine now if you can see the pictures do justice. Thank you. We processed outside of the church with a very heavy epitafio, but we learned our lesson. We processed down, and we stopped at the South Pool, and their father did a prayer and a petition for those that died in the planes on that day. Then we processed north into the North Pool, And we did, and we have one of our PC members, and many of you in this room know her, Anthula Katsontidis, whose brother was in the North Tower when it collapsed. And we did a petition and a prayer to those in those buildings. And then we processed to the side of the old church on Liberty Park and did another prayer for the old church and the old community. And then, of course, we went inside. So this, like I said, it was beyond our wildest dreams. And this year, we are blessed to have His Eminence, who also invited and who has accepted. Cardinal Dolan will be with us. So I expect more than 2,000 people this year, and I'll be prepared. So that's a good deal. Outside of our liturgical experience, we also have secular experiences there. We've had some concerts there. We've had the Ecumenical Patriarch Bartholomew Foundation had Capella Romana do a concert there. And if anybody doesn't know who Capella Romana is a Byzantine choir who was actually at King Charles's coronation. And we also had Paul Barnes do a recital as well in a chant of Byzantine hymns and also Philip Glass's music. So that was a beautiful experience. And as Father said, we are part of 9/11. So for the first time this year, we are in negotiations with the 9/11 Museum and how St. Nicholas could be an official participant at 9/11 at the commemoration. Because for almost 23 years now, we've not been there because we haven't been constructed. But now that we have a community, we've been open for over a year, we've had our initial meeting, and then next week I'll be submitting my proposal to be part of it. And it's an ambitious proposal, but that's why we have 6-7 months ahead of us to kind of figure it out. But we will be because they already guarantee that St. Nicholas will be a part of it. So we have to take in consideration the security parameters of the commemoration because either the president or the vice president is always present. So stay tuned for that. I will obviously inform everyone. And then this year, or last year, we had our Christmas caroling for the first time as well. It was a wonderful event. We had kids from the Fonte School in Brooklyn come in, and we had anybody that's in New York. We had Ernie Anastas host and put it on the local news over there. So that was a first time, and again, we'll be doing it again next year and expanding on that. And in the past, the old parish used to do the Epiphany, the throwing of the cross, in the Hudson River. And if anybody knows New York, Hudson River in January is not the greatest place to be. But I've worked with, I've already started the conversation, and we already got permission from Barry Park City, which is right across the street from us and basically owns the water along the Hudson River. And more importantly, the FDNY is going to give us a couple of boats and scuba divers in case of an emergency. So any young adults or young professionals that would like to jump into the Hudson River, please let us know. Or let's let Father Andreas know. And as we are part of 9/11 history, there is a need, not just in Lower Manhattan, but throughout the city, and I would even say probably in the country, of a bereavement program. If you go to the 9/11 Museum, there is a bereavement center for families of the victims. But if anybody's been there, it's a very emotional experience to talk about and to view death. It's not an easy thing, and it triggers something in almost everyone that goes there, some more than others. So we've been working with Dr. David Schoenfeld. He is the leading child bereavement expert in the country. He's out of USC. He's at the head of the National Center for School Crisis and Bereavement. He is, unfortunately, the first call that goes to Parkland shooting, Uvalde, Connecticut. He's been there, and he's talked to them, and talked to the families, talked to the friends of the victims. And he's stressed more, and he's been published, that children have been overlooked in the bereavement process. Because they're young, you figure they will get over it, unfortunately. But that's a fallacy. And we're concentrating on having a faith-based bereavement center there at St. Nicholas, which Father Andreas will lead, to acknowledge, to let people come in. Come in, you don't have to set an appointment. You could just walk into St. Nicholas and talk to Father or another trained docent and acknowledge that bereavement, because that's the first step, is acknowledging your bereavement, that you have that. And then we'll work together with, there's a network of bereavement centers around the country. And also, one thing we'll propose, and maybe take it to the Archdiocese, is have every parish be trained and be its own bereavement center for their communities, because it's a need within this world. Because, let's be honest, this world is not a safe place anymore. There's always something going on in the world, and you don't know what might trigger somebody to have a need. So this is one of the ministries and one of the things that the National Shrine is looking to do. And we've started with Dr. David Schoenfeld. We had a grant from the New York Life Foundation, whose head is Ted Mathis, who's a donor of ours as well. So outside of all these ministries of St. Nicholas, we also have a visitor experience. We're open to the public. We're going back to 7 days a week in mid-March, and we're open 7 days a week, usually from 10 to 5, and when the summer hits, we'll stay open to about 7 to 8 o'clock, depending on the need. And when you come into St. Nicholas, you see in this beautiful iconography, this Pandelic marble, and people need to know, what am I looking at? So we started with we created an interactive program. And I'm going to play you a little bit right now. It's an interactive program. It's a museum quality experience. So if you go to a museum, you go on the QR code, you go onto our this website, and George Stephanopoulos, if everyone knows from ABC, will guide you through St. Nicholas, the history of St. Nicholas, 9/11, the rebuilding, the design, and the architecture, and the iconography. So if you go from beginning to end, it's almost 50 minutes. We are the only house of worship that was destroyed in 9/11, but we're also the only house of worship on public land in the United States. And if you think about it, the separation of church and state in this country, there was a great fight to not have us build at St. Nicholas. So because of members in this room, and again, Michael Kaveris, I don't know if you're here, but there he is. He did pro bono, he did all the work to sign the lease, to get the deal done, and it took him X amount of years, and I won't age him that much, but he could tell stories. So again, thank you to the Leadership 100. And also part of our work at St. Nicholas is building an alliance with our community down there. We have working now with the Downtown Alliance, who basically does all the promotion and control of Lower Manhattan. We're also working, as I said, 9/11 Museum. If you go to 9/11 Museum, there's no mention of St. Nicholas. There's none of our relics, the few relics that were discovered after 9/11. That has changed. They will put one of our relics, or not, hopefully 2 relics in there, and also have a story about St. Nicholas in the 9/11 Museum. Thank you. We're also, in 2 weeks, we're working with Trinity Church and having a working relationship with Trinity Church. We're both meeting with the rector and the vicar of Trinity Church. And as anybody knows, Trinity Church, they're a downtown institution and also have a $6 billion real estate empire, so always good to be on their good side. And then we're working with other non-Orthodox tour groups and the New York City tour groups to really educate in how we're going to bring people into the church and to grow. Last year, as Father Andreas said, we had over 160,000 visitors. 90% were non-Orthodox and first time going to a Greek church. So this is our chance to educate people. And the new Hagia Sophia, the new cathedral of Orthodoxy that we don't have as a faith anymore. So this is our chance to really show the world what it means to be a Greek Orthodox Christian. So thank you all for your support throughout the years, and hope to see you there.